Welcome back, guys, to day number 2, second day, purgatory. Question 1, what is purgatory? Question 2, for what reason is there a purgatory? First point, faith teaches us that purgatory, as the meaning of the word indicates, is a place of suffering and expiation, where divine justice completes the purification of the souls of the faithful, who are not sufficiently guilty to be condemned eternally to the flames of hell, nor pure enough to be admitted to heaven. Purgatory, then, is not heaven, where nothing defiled can enter in, nor hell, where from which there is no deliverance. It is an intermediate place between the abode of everlasting joys and the abode of everlasting sorrows. It partakes of the nature of hell on account of the intensity of its sufferings, and it partakes of the nature of heaven on account of the holiness of the sufferers. It is a prison, but not an eternal one. It is a fire that consumes yet purifies. It is an abode of tears, but the tears are not the eternal tears spoken of in Scripture. When the work of purgation is ended, when God shall have no further claims against these debtors freed by suffering, He will call them to Himself to make them partakers of His own happiness. Purgatory is, then, a temporary place of the suffering, and after the day of judgment, it will no longer exist. Some of the doctors of the church think that it is placed in the center of the earth, very near to hell. They called it a lower place, a deep pit, a land of misery and darkness. Such is purgatory, and it is there that the greater portion of souls who have finished their pilgrimage on earth suffer and weep. For immediate entrance into heaven is, according to the opinion of learned theologians, a privilege granted but to few. There, in all probability, are the relatives, the benefactors, the friends whose loss we still mourn. It is there, O Christian soul, that you will very likely one day be, and that perhaps before long. Who is there that can flatter himself that he will die so pure as to have nothing to expiate? Oh, how necessary is it to understand the state of the poor souls in order to compassionate their sufferings, and thus merit to obtain relief for ourselves when our turn comes. Second point. When a soul at the hour of death appears before the sovereign judge, Jesus, if it is pure from spot or stain, opens the gates of heaven and shows it the crown promised to those who conquer. If, on the contrary, it is found guilty of but a single mortal sin, that same moment is the decree of eternal reprobation pronounced. But what will become of the soul whose robe of innocence is tarnished with only some slight stain? Where will it go? What will become of those numberless souls who are not sufficiently pure to enter heaven, but who are not guilty enough to be condemned to hell? Will they never see the face of God? Oh, let us bless God, who in His wisdom has found the means of conciliating the claims of justice with those of mercy, by placing purgatory as a middle place between heaven and hell. It is there that the souls are purified as gold in the crucible, and it is there that the rust and stains of sins are effaced. Tertullian, in speaking of the sufferings endured in purgatory, calls them the torments of mercy, tormenta misericordiae. Consider, then, O Christian soul, that there is a reason for purgatory. Yes, it is necessary in order to complete the penance which has not been done in this world, to satisfy the divine justice, and to merit by expiation an immense weight of glory. It is an invention of the goodness of God, that might almost be called an eighth sacrament, the sacrament of fire, for those souls to whom the 7 sacraments of the Church were not sufficient to confer on them perfect purity. All glory, then, to divine mercy, which saves by purgatory those we have loved, and which has placed in our hands the means of shortening their sufferings and opening for them the gates of heaven. Example. A zealous preacher, when terminating a discourse on purgatory, expressed himself in these words: "A few days ago, I received the news of the death of a venerable old man, who in life had been a true Catholic, and the pattern of every Christian virtue. This old man was my father. And far from him, as I am, the news has broken my heart, for I had not the happiness to see him once more, and with my priestly hand close his eyes. In my grief, I have but one consolation left, and that is, I have it in my power to succor his soul by offering up Mass for him, and I am able also to recommend him, as I do now recommend him to your good prayers. When I approach the altar to offer the holy sacrifice for the repose of the soul of my dearly loved father, it seems to me that I have not lost him. It seems to me that he thanks me for this act of filial piety. He blesses me affectionately, and he used to bless me when alive. It seems to me that my prayers shortens his sufferings, delivers him from purgatory, and opens heaven to him, that heaven where he had so often told me to meet him. Oh, what a holy and wholesome thought it is to pray for the dead. How truly is purgatory an invention of God's mercy. Prayer. I adore, O my God, thy eternal decrees, and I confess that purgatory, in conciliating thy justice and mercy, is an invention of thy love. Grant, O Lord, that, by doing penance here on earth, I may escape the pains and privations of purgatory, and that, through my prayers, I may obtain from thy paternal mercy that the suffering souls may speedily be united to thee, whom they love so ardently. O Jesus, be merciful to them. Call thy children and thy brethren to eternal rest, and may perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Requiescat in pace. And this is the end of chapter 2. I will see you guys in the next chapter. Thank you and have a blessed day.